The girl in chains. The forest was dark and cold. Strange sounds echoed through the trees. Deep growls, snapping twigs, and the soft whispers of wind filled the air. In the middle of this nightmare, a young alien girl lay on the wet ground. Her body shook with fear. Her arms and legs were tied with thick, sharp chains. Her purple skin was bruised. Her silver hair was dirty and stuck to her face. Her name was Naira. They had left her here to die. Naira came from a proud alien tribe. Her people were strong warriors known across the galaxy. But they did not care for the weak. And Naira was different. She was born small, quiet, and kind. Her tribe said she was useless. When she refused to join their cruel games, they called her a traitor. Her own brother had thrown her from the transport ship. She landed in the forest, bleeding and crying. "You are not one of us," he said before leaving her. "Let the beasts eat you." Naira heard the growls again. They were closer now. Creatures with long claws and glowing eyes lived here. They hunted in silence. She curled into a ball and closed her eyes. Her breath was fast. Tears ran down her cheeks. She whispered to herself, "This is the end." But then something changed. The forest went quiet. Even the wind stopped. Naira opened her eyes. A strange shadow moved through the trees. It walked slowly but with strength. She held her breath. Was it another beast, or a worse monster? A pair of eyes appeared in the dark. They were not red like the beasts. They were human eyes. Calm, sharp, watching her. A tall figure stepped into the light. A man, a human. His face was hard, his jaw strong. He wore dark armor, but it was scratched and old. A scar ran down the side of his neck. His boots made no sound on the ground. He looked at Naira, but he did not speak. Naira felt fear. Her people told stories about humans. They said humans were killers, beasts in skin, clever, fast, and heartless. But this one didn't look angry. He looked tired and calm. The human came closer. Naira tried to move, but the chains cut into her skin. She winced and gasped. He stopped a few steps away. Then, without a word, he pulled out a sharp tool from his belt. He knelt beside her and studied the chains. She stared at him, frozen. "Are you going to kill me?" she asked. Her voice weak. He didn't answer. Instead, he placed the tool against the lock. With one strong twist, the first chain snapped open. "Wait," she whispered. He kept working. Chain after chain fell away. In less than a minute, she was free. She sat up slowly, her hands shaking. The human stood back and watched her. His eyes scanned the forest, always alert. "Why?" she asked. "Why did you help me?" Still, he said nothing. Only a soft nod. Then he turned to leave. But a loud roar broke through the trees. The beasts had found them. Naira's eyes went wide. Four-legged creatures with sharp teeth rushed toward them. Their eyes glowed, and their breath steamed in the cold air. The human didn't run. He moved forward. Fast. Faster than she could see. With a single punch, he broke the jaw of the first beast. He dodged the second and stabbed it in the neck. The third leapt toward him, but he caught it mid-air and threw it against a tree. Blood splashed on the leaves. The forest was silent again. The human turned around. His arm was scratched, but he stood tall. Naira's heart raced. She had never seen anything like that. He walked back to her and held out his hand. This time she took it. They didn't speak. There was no need. She followed him into the trees. As they disappeared into the shadows, Naira looked back once. She remembered the faces of those who left her. And now, she walked beside a stranger, a human, who saved her without saying a word. She didn't know who he was. She didn't know why he helped. But deep inside, she felt something strange. Hope. The silent protector. The forest grew thicker with every step. Tall trees blocked the sky, and the ground was covered in old roots and sharp stones. Naira walked behind the human, her feet still weak from the chains. She didn't know his name. He hadn't said a single word, but he moved like he belonged here, like he had walked through 1,000 dark places before. The human kept checking, the shadows stopping sometimes to listen. His face never changed. He was calm, but not relaxed. Naira felt like he was expecting something. She whispered, "Where are we going?" He didn't answer. They passed the broken bodies of the beasts he had killed. Naira looked at them and shivered. Her people would have run or called for backup. This man fought with his hands with no fear. Soon they reached a small cave hidden behind thick vines. The human pushed them aside and motioned for her to enter. Inside, it was dry and quiet. The walls were made of smooth stone, and the air smelled of earth. He handed her a blanket from his pack and gave her water in a metal flask. Then he sat near the entrance and stared out into the forest. Naira sat beside the wall. Her body ached, her wounds still stung, but her mind was more restless. "Why did you save me?" she asked again. The human turned his head slightly. For a moment, it looked like he might speak, but then, nothing, only silence. Naira's voice trembled. "My people, they left me to die. I thought no one would come. I don't understand you. Humans don't care about us." The human finally spoke. Just one word. "Wrong." His voice was low, rough, filled with pain. Naira looked at him closely. There were old scars on his face, across his hands, and one deep one on his neck. These weren't the wounds of a soldier. They were the marks of someone who had survived something terrible. "Who are you?" she asked. He didn't answer. But outside something answered for him. A sharp sound cut through the air, like metal slicing wind, drones. Naira's eyes widened. "They're looking for me," she whispered. "My people must have sent the death hunters." The human stood. He grabbed a dark cloth from his pack and wrapped it around his arms. Then he picked up a strange black weapon. It looked old, but strong. He checked its power core and aimed it at the cave entrance. "They'll kill you if they find you with me," Naira said. "Then they'll try," he replied. His voice had weight. It was the voice of a man who didn't care about dying anymore. Within minutes, the sky above the cave lit up red. 3 drones hovered outside. They scanned the area with red beams. Then came the soldiers. Alien warriors in dark armor dropped from the sky. Their weapons glowed blue. They moved fast and searched the forest like wolves. The human whispered, "Stay down." He left the cave without a sound. Naira crawled to the edge and peeked out. What she saw made her heart stop. One of the soldiers spotted him and raised his gun. But before he could fire, the human moved like lightning. He rolled forward, slammed his elbow into the soldier's chest, and grabbed the weapon mid-air. With one twist, he turned it on the second attacker and fired. One shot. One body fell. The third soldier rushed in with a blade, but the human ducked and hit him in the throat. The sound of bones cracking echoed through the trees. Naira watched, with wide eyes. The human was not just a fighter. He was something else. Something her people feared but never understood. He didn't fight for glory. He didn't shout. He didn't hesitate. He destroyed. More soldiers dropped down. This time they came in groups. The human disappeared into the forest like a ghost. The gunfire began. Flashes of light burst between trees. Screams followed. One by one, the enemy fell. Minutes passed. Then silence. The human walked back to the cave, blood on his arms, smoke rising behind him. Naira stared at him. "They were some of our best hunters," she said. "How did you—" He sat down and wiped the blood from his hands. "I've fought worse," he said quietly. "Why?" she asked again. He looked at her, really looked, and this time he answered with more than one word. "Because once, long ago, someone saved me too." His voice shook. Naira didn't ask more. The cave was quiet again, but outside, the forest knew something had changed. The human had entered their world, and their world would never be the same.